Here's what happened yesterday. The cattle ranchers who I love don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years. Terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. President Trump, according to Politico, is planning to quadruple beef purchases from, guess who? Argentina, in order to help bring down beef prices in the States. We're all well aware by this point of his recent affinity for Argentina.
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina.
And now he's also seeming to focus in on beef prices because, according to him,
the only cost that's really up is beef.
The only price we have that's high is beef.
Fake news only wants to talk about beef.
That's the only cost that's up. He's referring to consumer costs, inflation. The only cost up is beef. Okay, he might want that to be true. The same way, remember, Democrats heading into 2024 were basically telling everyone the economy is fine, prices are okay, even though people didn't feel that way. Prices from the pandemic, inflation were still sticky high. The job market didn't feel encouraging to Americans, despite what the numbers said. I fear for Republicans, they are heading for a similar trap into next year's midterms because Donald Trump keeps saying this.
So prices are way down, groceries are down, everything's down, energy's way down. So our country has never done better.
Meanwhile, that's just not the case as far as the vibe people are feeling, but also on paper. CPI, our inflation gauge, was coming down, but has reversed back up, as you can see, almost to inflation numbers higher than when Biden left office. Health insurance premiums are up, and we might be on the precipice of them skyrocketing if Republicans don't extend the Obamacare subsidies. That dispute is the reason the government is shut down right now, so people feel that looming. Coffee prices up, Thanksgiving turkey prices way up, electricity prices through the roof. Take Marge's word for it, not mine. She's a woman of the people.
Food prices high, rent is high, home prices are ridiculously high, cars are high, auto insurance, home insurance, health insurance is insane. Energy prices are high. I can tell you that in my own electric bills. They're much more expensive than they were even a year ago.
So again, no matter how much you want to be the sexiest man alive who was the greatest president to ever live and is the most peaceful, the least racist, the most popular, all the things he says, president, he can say all those things. He can repeat them into the ether out loud and hope to convince himself enough and enough Americans of those things. But that doesn't make them any more true if in reality they aren't. Here's a statement out in response from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. President Trump and White House. Cattlemen and women cannot stand behind President Trump while he undercuts the future of family farmers and ranchers by importing Argentinian beef. It is imperative that the President and Secretary Rollins let cattle markets work without interference. Secretary Rollins is the Secretary of Agriculture. If the administration is truly an ally of America's cattle producers, we call on him to abandon this effort. So if in reality, the ranchers are not so happy with what you're doing,
the ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done.
If I were the president, I would not be saying so out loud just because I wanted that to be the case. Because I know that would be insulting to those Americans whom my actions are obviously harming, yet I am pretending they aren't. And I would want to retain some dignity and not look like a complete fucking idiot trying to wish cast into existence everything just working out all right. Unfortunately, our current president has extremely low levels of dignity and shame. As we know, the regular rules don't apply to him at all. Most likely, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't even hurt him with these cattle ranchers and these farmers and Republicans in general. Just months ago, they were in fact celebrating Trump's policy agenda. Of course, they did not anticipate it could possibly turn on them. They seem to believe the harm and damage it might cause would spare them, just affect other people. Also yesterday, after teasing Russian sanctions for literally the entire term since he's gotten back to the White House, President Trump finally announced economic sanctions against Russia. The sanctions target Russia's two largest oil companies in a bid to place pressure on Putin and the war he's raging on Ukraine, which is going on 3.5 years now. This is good. It should have happened much earlier, in my opinion. Trump said back in March, earlier this year, watch out, sanctions for Putin are coming. Never happened. He said it again over the summer. Never happened. Meanwhile, Putin has continued to behave like the demonic dictatorial war criminal he is, blowing up countless Ukrainians and Ukrainian lives in the process. You can make the argument and totally find that America is best served staying completely out of it, militarily, economically, diplomatically. I think that dissuading a power-hungry psychopath like Putin, thinking he can take whatever he wants on our planet as long as he's willing to shed more blood than his victims, I think dissuading that is good and something we, the leader of the world, should be proactive in doing. This is a very moderate step, but I think it's in the right direction. Trump's patience with Putin ebbs and flows. He also just canceled his meeting with Putin because he's obviously annoyed with him. I'd like him to just stay overall dissatisfied with a human being like Vladimir Putin, but we'll take what we can get when it's good. Paul Ingrassia, Trump's nominee to lead a government ethics agency whose leaked text messages showed him admitting he has some Nazi tendencies from time to time and absolutely cannot stand Black Americans, he withdrew his nomination for the position. I will be withdrawing myself from Thursday's hearing to lead the Office of Special Counsel because, unfortunately, I do not have enough Republican votes at this time. I appreciate the overwhelming support that I have received throughout this process and will continue to serve President Trump and this administration to make America great again. There's no apology there. Obviously, this man, these people are really quite proud of their beliefs, which, you know what, I certainly appreciate a man who stands behind his beliefs. So the consistency I can respect. But no remorse for thinking the world should resemble Nazi Germany, where non-whites are second-class citizens. No remorse for thinking that way. Also, I will continue to serve President Trump and this administration. Yeah, he still works in the White House. His colleagues, his bosses, the president, the vice president, don't see a problem with a self-admitted, still proud Nazi working alongside them, advancing their agenda, his agenda, and collecting taxpayer money as his salary. And lastly, Donald Trump Jr.
If he was a king, he probably would have never left the office the first time.